Recently, I was commissioned to build some benches. The herringbone benches that were really popular a couple of years ago, and they're made out of pallet wood. I've never built these herringbone benches before, they're not really my style, and honestly, I don't like working with pallet wood. But I took the commission anyways, because I thought it'd be kind of interesting and something new. So I started breaking down all of the pallets, and these were just pallets that were laying around my farm, so I figured instead of burning them, I would use them for this. Luckily, I didn't have to tear the pallets apart and de-nail them. The spaces between the runners left enough wood that I was able to use that, and I could just cut them off like you see me doing here. With all of the pallets dismantled, I took all of the pieces over to my planer and flattened one face of them. Next, it was over to the jointer to straighten one edge, and I did this just by putting that flat face up against my fence and running them through until each edge was straight. Next, it was time to rip all of the boards to the same width, and as you can see, I had quite a few to do. And finally, the last step in preparing the stock for these benches is to cut one end of the boards at 90 degrees. And so with all of the stock finally prepared, I could start making the bench tops themselves. And I began by drawing a center line down each top. And then I used a combination square to draw one line at 45 degrees from the corner. This is the only reference line you need because everything else will just fall into place. To add the boards to the top, I used that reference line and I glued them down the middle and nailed them down the middle. This is going to allow them to expand and contract as necessary. But now, the astute among you will say, but you have to leave space for the boards to expand and contract, otherwise it'll explode! And you can see I used a credit card. So by gluing them down the middle and nailing down the middle and leaving a space the size of a credit card between them, these boards can expand and contract as necessary. So finally, with all the boards glued in place, I used my track saw just to get rid of the excess. Then it was time to use a tool that I rarely use in my shop, and that's a belt sander. And I used this just to sort of take any rough parts out of the wood and even them up as much as I could. But, you know, you still have to leave that rustic pallet wood look, so, you know, don't go overboard with the sanding here. And so next, to add a little bit of strength to the top here and hide the edge of the plywood, I glued on some strips, or I guess you could consider it edge banding. And so with the tops done, it was time to work on the base. So I prepared the stock just as you would any other stock for a project and began assembling. I used mortise and tenon construction here to attach the legs to the rails or the aprons, and I just did this with my domino. Made it super fast and super easy. And so with the leg assemblies all glued together, I went ahead and screwed the base to the top. And then it was off to the random orbit sander to start preparing the benches for finish. And so the finish I decided to use on these benches is just a clear shellac. It really has become my favorite finish. It's super easy to put on and nearly impossible to mess up. If you're not using shellac, give it a try. And here's a quick look at the finished benches. So if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I put out new content once a week. Alright guys, go build something.